10 people worked on it, and it started with a listening tour in Appalachia, right? Traveling through the mountains, talking to people that are impacted by coal. Now, one of the members of our collective was organizing against this very destructive form of mining called mountaintop removal mining, where they blow the mountain up with dynamite and use giant dragline machines to scrape all the coal very quickly and very cheaply. And so, this member of our collective, who's rooted in Appalachia, encouraged folks to get organized around this and to create a piece to do some popular education with it. And so, we traveled through Appalachia listening to environmentalists that were opposing these mines, miners, retired miners and union activists, artists, activists, educators, historians and academics, and everyday people who've been impacted, and indigenous folks. And so we have to kind of weave all these stories together. But one thing that people brought up more than once, right, throughout that listening tour was that we can't just talk about mountaintop removal coal mining in a vacuum. This didn't come out of nowhere. There's all kinds of histories that led to this being our reality today. And we have to understand those histories if we're going to effectively oppose this destruction. And if we effectively oppose this destruction, we can get to a hopeful, sustainable future, right? So we have to have many generational lens on this work, right? So that's why we made this in a winding timeline, starting down here with the creation of coal itself in the marshlands of Appalachia, with the ferns and the horsetails being compressed into coal at a time that anaerobic bacteria didn't exist to decompose it. As we travel up the graphic, we start to see the lives of the original peoples, the Cherokee, in the mountains of Appalachia. Then we start to see the onset of migration and settling, as well as settler colonialism up at the top of the tree here. As we work our way down, we start to see the making and then breaking of treaties and the ethnic cleansing of indigenous peoples in Appalachia. The rolling out of the railroads, the company towns, the Industrial Revolution, worker revolt, right? Workers standing up for their rights and fighting for better conditions in the mines, and the victories that came from the willingness of workers to stand and fight and even die to get organized. As we then kind of look through this mechanization process, we get to this present day reality of climate chaos, consumerism, mass incarceration, community and economic displacement, cycles of addiction and poverty, extreme energy extraction, and then also environmental disasters. And as we move through resistance in this panel here, all the different ways that people are standing up and fighting for their lands, their water, their air, each other, we make our way into this hopeful, sustainable, regenerative, and decolonial future, right? Now, along the bottom, we have stories of individuals. Then we have stories of groups of people, communities, society, and at the top is the big economic and political issues of the era. So you can read it as a grid, from past to future and from micro to macro. And so now that you understand the grid of this piece, I want to invite, as many of you as possible. We're a nice big group, so I'm not sure if everyone's going to jump in on this, and not everybody has to. But when you were looking at it earlier, what animals caught your attention? Or insect, or plant? What caught your attention and why? And what do you think it's representing? Yeah. Which side are you on?
Which side are you on?
The fox right here?
Yeah.
So what caught your attention with this fox and why, and what do you think it's representing?
Humans are nature, and we try to act like we're not. So I feel like when I saw that, it was like a reminder of like, you're right, what side am I going to choose? Nature, where I belong, with the rest of the animals, or am I going to allow capitalism to live on, which is not nature. It's not supposed to be.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I love doing these presentations with folks and starting it off with everyone's interpretations, because there's often things that people bring up that I have never heard anyone interpret in that way before. and that's kind of like the beauty of it. Even though there is a very detailed story that goes with everything, there's a lot of stuff we can get into when we're talking about this fox. Does anybody else want to bring up what they think of when they look at this fox, or who they think that fox might represent based on where they are in the graphic? No?
Foxes sort of get a rap of being manipulative or sly, and it makes me wonder if that's like the balance between different movements. We need to work together, but can we trust one another?
Okay. Yeah, like which side are you on, right? Like, are you actually on our side?
Is there significance in that territory, like for the fox in that like region, to like the settlers there or to the indigenous people there?
I think a lot of people have